Yeah, I think they'll know. And of course, you know, with the team car behind, and you know, given that information and how you're feeling at the time, they could have come into this race with two riders selected to be looked after. But I think now the situation of the race, that Narvaez, this would be really a climb that kind of really suits him, and if he can go over the top, he's got that sprint come the finish. So it's up to the others to get rid of the likes of Narvaez, because he is one of the quickest riders in this front group.
They are the words of Brian Smith, two-time British road race champion, former pro, and my long-time co-commentator colleague here. We are watching the final climb in this, the 46th edition of the Donostia San Sebastian Klasikoa, and at the moment it is UAE Team Emirates who are setting this one up. Maxim Van Gils still looks very, very good up alongside them, though. The man who finished on the podium here last year now goes again. He's actually got a little bit of a gap to the others. This is one of the first of those steep ramps. It's a much narrower climb, the Murgil as well. I don't know whether Maxim Van Gils knows that he's riding away at the moment, or whether he just keeps this going, Brian. There's a lot of looking around going on back there.
Well, I tell you what, Jess, he's done a terrific job so far. I just noticed that, bigging up Narvaez, he was slipping. He's in the left-hand side there now at the back of the group, so it won't be Narvaez. He doesn't have the form that he's had in the past. It does look as if it's Jan Christian. So he's gone from the front to the back with that acceleration from Maxim Van Gils. So, and he's got Klasikoa, who kind of set him up there. So that was a little bit of a surprise for me. But back to the front, you see in second place, Evenepoel, Carapaz, Jan Christian is there. They're all kind of lining up, nobody attacking for the moment. Ciccone, last year's winner, sitting in about 8th to 10th place.
Well, this is it. We've only got 700 metres to go to the top of this climb. Then the long descent back down to San Sebastian. Don't tell me we're going to get some kind of reduced bunch sprint here at this rate. The way we're looking at it, I don't know. That is Carlos Rodriguez. Hadn't even mentioned him, the Spaniard, just getting dropped from the front group. Former Spanish champion, of course. Maxim Van Gils looks around. He might even get to contest this finish at this stage if it carries on like this. We've got one more steep ramp to come on the Murgil as well. They'll be over the top and starting the descent. Now, somebody has to do something here, Brian. Surely Carapaz. If Carapaz is to do anything and he's got the form, he really needs to use the next ramp to go, surely.
Well, it should be in my book. Evenepoel goes for this one, and just as I say, he starts to accelerate. I'm not too sure he'll get rid of Carapaz. You get Barry in the left-hand side for Visma. Ben Tulit is up there as well. Jorgensen just starting to fade a little bit, but this is a strong effort here from the double Olympic champion, but he's not getting rid of Carapaz.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's gone full just yet, though. But then you never can tell with Remco. He's so cool and calm looking on the bike. He has a look round. You're right, Carapaz is weaving almost in time with the double Olympic champion. Of course, Carapaz himself, a former Olympic road race champion. He's in the pink there for EF Education. It's Louis Barret, who's already been on the attack today himself for Visma Lease bike. He's got good form as well. And there's a gap between these three and Ben Tulit, who leads the chase behind. Visma Lease bike need to be careful here. They don't snuff out their own fire, because Tulit is in the middle, and by the looks of it, at the moment, Barret is gone. I did think at some point it might start to hurt, and we've got Richard Carapaz, Remco Evenepoel at the front, and now starting to open up the gap.
Yeah, the problem we've got now is Remco Evenepoel. He's already made a big effort today. After that change of bike, he came back, and he's been on the front, kind of bringing it all back together, so he must be feeling a little bit tired from that.
Yeah, for those of you who weren't with us for the whole of our live coverage today, Remco Evenepoel with a bike change, long chase to get back in, finding it a bit frustrating in between the cars to get back as well. In the end, he got back on the lights when his own teammate Giulio Pellizzari got dropped back just to give him that last bit of pace. Then he had to work his way through all those drop groups to get back to the front. Now we see him not just at the front, but off the front with the King of the Mountains winner, Richard Carapaz, with him. So we've got here second from the Tour de France and the King of the Mountains winner. So form from the Tour, absolutely crucial and definitely paying off after 6 days since we finished in Paris.
I just think, looking at Remco, he's just sitting down in this climb, pedalling away. Carapaz out the saddle a little bit more. I've just got that feeling that if Remco Evenepoel's got anything left, that a big acceleration over the top of the climb, he could possibly get rid of Carapaz, who's just concentrating on the former world champion's back wheel.
Carapaz needs to do something, Brian, doesn't he? Because I don't ever see Carapaz beating Remco in a sprint back down in San Sebastian. I just can't see it. Remco's so quick once he gets the jump as well. surely Carapaz, if he can, he needs to try. So it's not easy though in amongst all these Basque fans here, because there's just literally one channel through the middle.
Yeah, I don't think he's got it. I think he's at his limit now, and I think Remco is riding this super strong. It would have been interesting to see if he didn't have that chase, but great crowds here at the top of this final climb. This photographer is in the way anyway if there was going to be any acceleration, but I think for Remco Evenepoel now, I think the effort of before, because if he wants to get rid of Carapaz, he could have done it on this part of the climb, because I really do think that Carapaz is on his limit.
My goodness me, what a place to be. It's nice to see there is a little bit of elasticy string holding back some of the fans here. The vast majority of them Basque fans, of course, but they know they're cycling so well in this part of the world, and this is an iconic Basque race. It's Remco Evenepoel over the top of the Murgil first. Carapaz follows. What can he do? Can he do anything, or are we going to see a two-up sprint between these two? Either way, it's going to be hard, incredibly hard for Richard Carapaz to win from here. We watch the others who are still chasing. That looks like Mathis Rondel, who has got one of the Visma bike riders. I think it's Ben Tulit there still with him. Carapaz now doing a turn, Brian. What does he do? 8k to go. Long descent. Then when they hit the bottom of the descent, it's a 3k flat. How on earth do you win this if you're Richard Carapaz?
Well, I've seen stranger things happen in the past. Richard Carapaz has got a bit of a kick. Remco Evenepoel, well, he didn't really need a kick in his first few years as a rider, because he used to win everything alone. And I think I can remember him in Denmark when he won his first group sprints. But I really do think that Carapaz is riding purely because he's in a chance of at least winning or getting second. But last year's winner, talking about it, Ciccone, is trying to come across here. Another rider that in the mix after 220 kilometres on a very difficult circuit around here in San Sebastian. You wouldn't put it past any of these guys winning the sprint. Carapaz, as I said, has got a good kick. Ciccone's got a good kick on him, but I think it's going to come down to what you got left in the legs, and definitely for me, Remco Evenepoel looks as if he's in more control than the others.
Oh, Brian, this is a fascinating battle. I'd much rather see this than the way that Remco Evenepoel has won the other 3 editions that he's won. He might not even win today at all. For goodness knows, he might not even be on the podium at this rate. Let's see what happens, because last year's winner, Ciccone, is trying to get across to these two. Is there a point where Richard Carapaz shakes his head when Remco Evenepoel does the elbow flick? What do you think about that, Brian, if he just starts to sit on? I don't know what the excuse would be.
You would think if he wanted to try and win this, his chance would be to do less or even do nothing. But the fact is, Ciccone's he's drifting now 12 seconds, and he knows this is is it Barre that's coming across here as well. He's had a tremendous ride today,
amazing,
I have to add, but he's going to be an asset to Ciccone here. I know that Ben Tulit is just behind as well with Rondel. They have to consider what they do, but with 6 kilometres to go, all you can do is go flat out here.
This is Pello Bilbao, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is, in his final edition of the San Sebastian Classic. The Basque rider for Bahrain victorious in his last season as a pro. I suspect there'll be plenty of people feeling like he could go another season, the 36-year-old, but he's chosen this year to be his last. Very, very popular rider, Bilbao, not least here. Watch out for him in the upcoming Volta a Burgos as well, but I'm sure he'll be trying things. He's still in a very good position today too. This is the front of the race. 3-time winner Remco Evenepoel with the Tour de France King of the Mountains, Richard Carapaz. Got to be careful. We have seen crashes on this descent in the past, in the recent past as well, the last few years. Remco Evenepoel will know it well. I don't think he's ever actually, Brian, if I think back through them, his 3 victories, I think he's been solo by this point every single time in them. This is a new scenario.
He's second in the history of the winners. La Jarreta has won it 3 times, of course, but La Jarreta also finished second. For Remco, he's won every edition that he's ridden.
Yeah. I'm just trying to spot who the Groupama FDJ rider is in there. I think it might be Rémi Rochas, sitting 3rd or 4th in the back. I think he's the only Groupama rider there, but I've got someone there. Will that group be involved in the podium at all? I don't think so at this stage. Got about 1,300 metres to go of the descent. And we are getting back into the urban environment of San Sebastian itself. There is opportunity in that urban environment for tactical attacking moments, should it come to it, between these two, Brian, because we've got a fair few roundabouts, a couple of bends and that sort of thing, and they always offer a little opportunity for a rider to back off, rush a gap, something like that between these two. If it's to stay, it's just two.
I think it's going to come down to a two-up sprint. I think Carapaz would take his chance, try and kind of force Remco Evenepoel to do a little bit more, which he is doing. These two, well, I don't think they're coming back now. Ciccone got close. He got to within maybe about 8 seconds over the top of the climb. Just couldn't go with them when they went. So the two strongest riders are in front, and you know, they're both riding because they know they don't want to leave anything by chance. But you know, I don't think there's a lot of difference in both of these riders come the finish. And you know, by the looks of things, they're riding to either, you know, they're going to finish first and second anyway. So I think now Carapaz has to use his nous a little bit, force Evenepoel to kind of lead this one out. But you know, Carapaz, he does have a good finish.
Final 3K of this 46th edition of the Donostia San Sebastian Klasikoa, a return to the men's World Tour action post-Tour de France and back in with the one-day races. The last one we saw, of course, was the Copenhagen Sprint won by Jasper Philipsen. This is a very, very different race. Always tough and attritional. Always designed to spill out the best of the resilient climbers at the very end of this race. And it's done exactly that today as well, with Richard Carapaz and Remco Evenepoel at the front of the race. A former Olympic road race champion in Richard Carapaz, and the current one in Remco Evenepoel. Now onto the flat, tucking down, getting as aero as possible. They're going to come down to, as Brian has said, by the looks of it, a sprint between these two. It is fascinating to see. Richard Carapaz does a medium to long-ish turn, has a look round. Remco has a look round too. There's the sense at the moment that I'm not seeing that either of them are thinking the other is going to attack them at this point. And here are the chasers. They're going to get company too. Ben Tulit is getting back up to his own teammate Louis Barret. And Mathis Rondel, who's had a fantastic ride today, is also closing in. There's the defending champion, Giulio Ciccone, with the one on his back, the Lidl Trek Italian rider. By the looks of it, though, is not going to get on with the leading two. And at some point, Brian, these four will start thinking about third place.
Well, they have to, and they have to do it now, because there's only 11 seconds between that group and the group behind, so it's not all over for the group behind to finish in third place, because there's only 10 seconds between them inside the last 1500 metres here. But this is going to be a really interesting final here, and Carapaz, well, if he wants to win, I think he has to force Evenepoel. But I just think Evenepoel was already shown today, and he might be a little bit jaded from his efforts, but I just think Evenepoel looks a little bit stronger here.
Yeah, this is pure Tour de France form coming to the streets of San Sebastian in front of a massive crowd for this 46th edition. At the moment, Richard Carapaz happy to keep adding to this. The two of them both want to stay away from that chasing group because it's a messy, larger one now where there could be all sorts of attacks that come from it. So at the moment, they are still taking turns to make sure they get to the finish line ready to contest this win. If Remco Evenepoel wins, he'll be the outright only rider to have ever won this race on 4 occasions. He holds the record already at the moment, of course, with Marino Larrieta, who was the first ever winner of this race. Can he go 4 wins and be the outright best in this race? Let's see. At the moment, it's Carapaz who sits on, and he's going to stay there. Now, that was the flick of the elbow from Remco Evenepoel. Carapaz not coming through. The gap, by the looks of it, enough. Around about 20-25 seconds between these two and the chase, and they might well milk every one of those 25 seconds by the looks of it, Brian.
Yeah, I think the group has come together in the end, but I think Evenepoel has done the right thing here. He's forcing Carapaz to lead this one out. Who finishes in third? I think there's going to be a sprint behind.
We shall see. Now, at the moment, Remco Evenepoel has got Richard Carapaz, I suspect, exactly where he wants him. There's the finish line and the sprint has started. Evenepoel goes hard right. Carapaz follows the wheel. Can he come off it, though? Can he even get in it, though? I don't think he can. This is a former Olympic champion and the current Olympic champion who takes the outright record. 4th win for Remco Evenepoel at the Clasica San Sebastian. He's done it the hard way to do, having chased to get back on. But in the end, he was the best. just come the finish line. This is the sprint as well for third. An important one too. Giulio Ciccone, having won last year, he goes now up alongside him. Ben Tulit is challenging in a very tired looking group who are going for third place, but they're spread wide at the moment. Tulit looking good down the middle. Ciccone's not got it. And might be Ben Tulit in the middle.